What's up guys, not Super Mario here, and welcome to today's video and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, it's 2023, the last video that I've done was in 2022, so first of all I have to say Happy New Year. Hopefully you had an amazing New Year's Eve, New Year's celebration and Christmas and all of those things, and hopefully I really do wish you the best possible 2023. I'm here for good. I want to make videos for you guys. I want to make as much quality content as possible because I really enjoy doing this. And the first thing we're gonna do is talk about movies in 2022. My personal favorite movies of 2022. I'm doing the top 10 list and a few honorable mentions. But before I do that, if you like this type of content, of course, like, share, subscribe, all those things, and leave your top 10 lists in the comment section down below because I really want to know which movies did you enjoy the most. But now, let's talk about movies that I almost put on top 10 list, but I didn't. And firstly, I will say that I think I watched around 150 movies that have been released in 2022. So there's been a lot of movies to choose from. And I would say, I think it was a good year for movies. I think that there was a few movies that really did blew me away. And for that reason, they're on this list. But first of all, 5 honorable mentions. I'm gonna cruise through them quite fast because I don't want to talk about too much about the movies that were almost on top 10 list. First honorable mention, Causeway, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Brian Tyree Henry. Amazing performances. Hopefully we're gonna see some nominations for this movie, especially Brian Tyree Henry. I think he did an amazing job. Amazing movie. Next movie, one of the hardest watches in 2022, Till. This movie was so heart-wrenching, but so important for me to watch. A story about Emmett, this boy. I have never heard about this story, but the performance from Danielle Deadwyler, absolutely incredible. She should be and hopefully will be nominated for an Oscar. Amazing performance. Go watch Till if you haven't. So good. Next, Pinocchio. And not the Disney's Pinocchio remake, whatever that was, but Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Wow, I was blown away. First of all, I'm a huge fan of stop motion because it takes so much freaking time to do that. I did a few stop motion thingies on my own and I admire all the work that goes into it, and when it's so beautiful, with such an amazing story, with such an amazing job doing the stop motion, I was blown away. And the songs, beautiful, amazing. Next movie on my honorable mention is Hustle, starring Adam Sandler. I love basketball. This is about basketball and people loving basketball, so it was meant for me. And the last on the honorable mentions list that almost got on the top 10 list of the best movies of 2022 is Bullet Train. I recently rewatched it. David Leitch did an amazing job directing with stellar cast. It's just fun. It's just pure fun, action-packed, great actors, great performances, great action sequences, so I really did love it. And now we are here, the top 10 list of my favorite movies of 2022. Like I said, very subjective, so we are probably not gonna agree, but let's start with number 10, movie called Gold. Yes, it was the first movie in 2022 that have been released in 2022 that I've seen, starring Zac Efron. And maybe you are surprised and maybe you've never heard about this movie, and I do not judge you because I've never heard about this movie beforehand. Yeah, it was awesome. Very simple story. This post-apocalyptic story where the gold is the only important thing, and it's really kind of suffocating. The movie is kind of suffocating. And Zac Efron did a lot of movies last year. I mean, Gold, then that beer thingy, and another one, Firestarter. Those two were not good. So if you want to see a really good Zac Efron movie from 2022, watch Gold. At number 9 is a Netflix movie, a Spanish movie, God's Crooked Lines, or Los Reglones Torcidos de Dios. If you love David Fincher, and if you love thrillers and mysteries and twist after twist after twist, you're gonna love this movie. I'm not gonna spoil you anything. It's on Netflix. Watch it, but you never know who to trust. You never know what characters actually want and if their desires and things that they're doing are actually true. So be prepared to be surprised and not knowing what's gonna happen. But yeah, it's unbelievable. It's like David Fincher like movie in a sense that the way it's shot and the way it looks, it really reminds me of David Fincher style. And I'm a huge fan of David Fincher, so no surprise that it's on this list. Number 8 is After Sun, starring Paul Mescal, and it's very simple, like very simple movie, I would say. It's about dad and his daughter and how they are going through life. Pretty much, it's really hard to explain like otherwise what this movie is. It's very simple, it's very simply shot, it's very beautiful, and it touches you on every single emotional level, and for that reason it is on my list. I really enjoy simple movies where it's not simple in a way that dialogue is really boring or just simple like hey, you, hi, who. It's not like that, but when the simplest things in movies work on a deeper emotional level, it really works for me, and that for me is After Sun. I really hope that there is gonna be some love at the award season for this movie, especially at the Oscars, because it really does deserve all the praise. Number 7, After Yang. I think another movie I would say that not a lot of people have seen, and unfortunately that's the case because it's a movie that, yet again, it's dealing with the question of family, love, and the things that some people would consider very simple, but they are very complicated and really hard to deal with. And we have also this addition of futuristic thingy that I'm not gonna spoil because you have to watch it for yourself to really understand it and appreciate it. But amazing performance from Colin Farrell. I mean, this is the year of Colin Farrell, in my opinion. I mean, so many great performances, and we're gonna talk about Colin Farrell in another movie that I'm gonna have on this list. But yeah, After Yang, one of those movies that I've seen really early on in 2022 that I haven't heard a lot about, like beforehand that I've seen it, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it, and it's really unfortunate because yet again, very simple but yet complicated things that are very important to people in general, like love, family, how to deal with problems. So it's yet again one of those movies that it kind of is very simple in a way, but takes like the most simplest things and does it in a very truthful way, like how complicated they actually are. That I think it makes sense. After Yang, very good movie. Talking about Colin Farrell, number 6 is The Batman. I will say right now, and yeah, I will say it, this is the best Batman we had. Yes, Robert Pattinson has proven everybody wrong that he can be the best Batman, even though Ben Affleck I absolutely adore, Christian Bale I absolutely adore, but this Batman is what I loved from the comics. I mean, it was the most detective, the most like greedy in a perfect way. And I think that why I love this Batman so much is for the first time I kind of felt that this Batman could be amongst like us normal people in the world and doing things. And for that reason, I absolutely adore this Batman. I cannot wait, and I really do hope we are getting a sequel with Matt Reeves directing, just because what he did with this world and characters. I mean, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, perfect. Colin Farrell, I was just talking about him as Penguin, one of the best performances this year. I mean, and I cannot wait to see his TV show that is coming out in the near future, hopefully, or in like 2024, or I don't know what's going on with DC, but yeah, The Batman, awesome movie. At number 5, I have X. Not Pearl, even though I really did enjoy Pearl as well, but X was so surprising, so freaking good, so weird, and so perfect. And Mia Goth, come on, why are we not talking about Mia Goth? Why are we not talking about Mia Goth like in award season? I mean, what she did in Pearl and what she did in X, and I'm sure she's gonna do an amazing job with Maxine, the third movie in this Pearl X franchise, however you want to call it. I mean, it's outstanding. I was. It's been a while since I was like scared shitless, I would say, when I was watching a horror movie, and it was right amount of gore, right amount of dialogue. The story was really well done. Cinematography, this old school looking like something from 60s, 70s, or it worked perfectly. Direction, perfection. Damn, that rhymed. So yeah, X. Wow. At number 4, we have The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring, of course, one and only Brendan Fraser, Sadie Singh, Hang Zhao. If I wasn't amongst all these critics and people in a theater full of snobbish critics, I would cry myself so hard because, yeah, when I watched this movie, I was holding my tears. It touched me. It blew me away. What Brendan Fraser does with this character and the humanity that he brings into his performance and everybody else surrounding him was just perfection. Like I said, I would bawl my eyes out, crying out loud and loudly if I wasn't in a theater packed with like critics and film snobbish people. I think it's one of the best movies. I mean, it's at number 4 on my top 10 list. So I really do hope Brendan Fraser gets the Oscar, not just getting nominated, but gets the Oscar for this performance, because in my opinion, that was the best performance of the year. At number 3, I have a movie that when I heard about it, I was like, what the actual heck is this movie gonna be? And just basing on the freaking trailer, I was like, you know what? I have to see this movie. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. I mean, I was blown away that I was an emotional mess after watching a movie where we are watching a movie where we see somebody going through life from the perspective of a freaking shell. I mean, just the the concept of this movie sounds completely ridiculous. And it was the best. It's just perfect on every single every single way of looking at movies, in my opinion. Marcel the Shell blew me away. I still don't understand it. Please, can somebody explain me in the comments down below? This movie will probably be nominated for an animated movie at the Oscars. How the heck is this movie animated movie? I mean, yes, I get it. Marcel the Shell was animated, but everything else surrounding him was not animated. I mean, if that's animated, then Avatar has to be animated. I mean, I don't understand it, but nevertheless, so beautiful, so pure, and so simple yet again. And what I love about this movie is if people would be more like Marcel the Shell, I think the world would be beautiful. At number 2, I have The Menu. The movie I had zero expectations, zero knowledge, zero anything before seeing this movie. I just knew that Voldemort is gonna be in it, Ralph Fiennes. When I saw this movie, I was like, you know what? This movie was made for me. In my opinion, this is the best social commentary movie ever created. Why? Because it works in every single way, and it's not forced. I completely understand why Ralph Fiennes' character does what he does in the movie. Yes, he goes to extremes, and it's a horror movie, it's a thriller, it's like this creepy thingy, but I understand it. And for that reason, and all of his motivation for all the things that he does in this movie, I completely understand it. Yes, it goes to extremes. And if you're not a weird, psycho Ralph Fiennes' character in this movie, you're not gonna do that. But you completely understand it. And that's the reason why this movie works. And I mean, all the supporting characters and actors are absolutely phenomenal. Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult. I hated him, but he did perfect job. He was amazing. Everybody else, perfection. Never thought this movie is gonna be anything when I decided to watch it, but at the end, it was one of the best movies this year, or let's say in 2022. And the last movie, my number 1, of course, if you know me, Top Gun Maverick. What can I say? I think no movie is a perfect movie. Top Gun Maverick is what perfection looks like. And I adore the first Top Gun. I love Tom Cruise. I mean, this movie was made for me, and I cannot believe that they succeeded. After what 37 years, they've created a sequel to a movie that it's loved, but it's not like, I wouldn't say Star Wars loved or Jurassic Park or Jaws loved, but people love it. Then they made this, Top Gun Maverick. I have no words. This movie has proven to the studios, if you give your all attention, 150% to the movie, all devotion, like all the passion behind it, and if the movie takes time to be made, you can make something amazing. Who would have thought this would be one of the biggest grossing movies of 2022? I mean, now it's the second after behind Avatar, The Way of Water, but still, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a movie about people flying planes, but it's perfection. Cinematography, wow. Joseph Kosinski direction, great. Tom Cruise, great. Val Kilmer, great. Everything about this movie is just perfection, and I wouldn't change a single thing about it. And for that reason, it's my number one. It's one of the best movies of 21st century in my opinion, and I hope it gets all the praises at the awards ceremonies because it deserves it. 150%. So yeah, that was my list of the best movies in 2022. Like I said at the beginning, let me know in the comment section down below what were your favorite movies of 2022, and let's have a discussion about it. And yeah, that is gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, share this video all over the place, click the bell icon to get notified when I upload, and I see you next time.